Hi everyone! So here is another video of us conversing, me and my pal of sorts. And today the topic of discussion is Stanley Kubrick, the renowned film director who is by many considered one of the best of all time. He is certainly one of my inspirations artistically. Yeah. And likewise, he grew up in the New York City environment and was a heavy chain smoker. And
just like me.
Well, yes. But there's artists, they often have little
quirks
about them that some people may not understand. And, being someone from New York City, it's understandable why he may have been a very heavy smoker, because maybe, he just was used to that really stressful environment. But so anyway, just the main thing we're gonna talk about is his death, which is on Wikipedia. If you look at it, it says attributed a heart attack. And they make these notes that right before the viewing of Eyes Wide Shut to the production studios of some kind, he was very nervous. He was smoking one cigarette after the other, and right before the movie came out, he died. Coincidence or not? My pal thinks not. Me? Well, the truth is, I think it's impossible to say from our standpoint, because we just have no idea. We weren't there. We don't know any of the people who were there. I mean, it would make a lot of sense either way, but you have to consider his extremely unique directing content, which if you believe in the Illuminati, that might have been a reason for him to be killed. I don't know.
Not even the Illuminati, but powerful people in society that he exposed through that film, Eyes Wide Shut.
Right, and I've listened to podcasts in the past about how he really probably was a member of some kind of Masonic secret society.
Or just invited to certain parties.
But the thing is, he was kind of always an outsider in that area by himself, which is why he took it upon himself to make such a film. And also, his final film is Eyes Wide Shut. They expose a lot of things about prostitution and drug parties that the rich people have. But there's this theory that the reason ultimately why he was killed is because there was scenes in the movie he presented that the studio cut out, that included things like child
abuse, molestation,
as a part of these rituals, and it would have been blowing the final
lid off
the whole organization. that movie. But the thing is,
I don't think it's blowing off the lid off any specific organization. He was just portraying certain activities that certain elites in society engage in periodically.
certain things, yeah. But the movie that we get is a highly, highly edited version of it.
24 minutes were cut out, apparently.
Yes. Okay, so that's the details for you. And it's Kubrick himself was a very, evasive figure himself, and he's involved in all these evasive subjects. So it's just a very interesting topic in every angle that you approach it, no matter if you believe in conspiracies or not. I mean, even the most rational person can't deny how odd there are things about this whole situation,
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it very interesting. And um, what I think, you can have faith in Kubrick being a motherfucking genius, excuse my language, because he really was a genius. I mean, look at the films he'd made. So, in order for him to be that smart, he obviously probably was dealing with some pretty powerful people because at the end of the day, there's this misconception in Hollywood that, oh, one day you wake up and you're famous. No. Nobody who's in Hollywood in those levels of power
Just woke up
is
one day.
surprised to be there. They all know how they got there. It's not,
A luck of a
oh,
draw.
I won the lottery. Now I'm famous. Now I have all this money. No, everybody knows why they're there, and they're not surprised to be there because they've done certain things, gone through certain things to get there. That's the reality. And for the common man like us, peasants, on the
Internet.
lower plane of society, the stomping grounds of the streets, it's all very like you can't really even begin to understand it because it's so hidden from us. We can't even begin to understand the way these people operate. And it's in a very, very, from what I understand, a very organized fashion, extreme secrecy. And they're smart people. And when you're smart and you're powerful and you basically run society, who's to say anything? The sky possibly is the limit. But for most people, that is not a conception. So that is why things like conspiracies are often discounted, especially something like this, for example. And that is why on Wikipedia they say heart attack. But the truth is, murdering people for these people is just another task in their day. Especially when you have someone as, idealistic and, artistic as Kubrick. Because the one thing about artists is that at the end of the day, they're trying to speak their truth through their art. And a real artist, the reason he is so good is because he just does that. And he probably wasn't genuinely motivated by money. I mean, if you look at his childhood, he was almost a dropout. He would just play chess in the parks in the city, and he really wasn't going anywhere in life in his youth. And he just started taking photography classes, I don't even know about that, but somehow he picked it up and he taught himself all the things, and he just ran purely on that passion and drive. And honestly, some people may underestimate that, but for some people, that is their saving grace from things like drugs, sex, materials. And that's probably the biggest thing that differentiates Kubrick from all these other elites. Because the movie clearly shows how much of a role all these three factors and more probably play in these people, because they are corrupt people and they do bad things and they don't see past that. They see their thrills of sex orgies and they don't care about the lives it destroys. And Kubrick, it very clearly expresses um, these nuances, these wrongdoings in the very subtle, innuendos he basically jam packs in every millimeter of his film. And honestly, you could really just spend freaking classes, semesters analyzing his each film, and you could just sit forever and analyze Kubrick films because they're so stuffed with so much intense um, content and things, and I don't even want to tap into that because I'm just ranting now. But I think in life there are people who um, they just they see things different, and in the long run it might seem like he lost the battle, but he didn't, because he was able to make a name for himself. And then there are a few people who can sit down and try to understand what he's trying to say in those films. And for those people comes knowledge, and they, you know, Hollywood is 95% of it, especially modern day Hollywood movies, it's all just fluff. There's no real unique plots. The age of real talented film directors is gone because now everybody's just doing it for the money. It's all about who's going to fund who. And we really need to have people who are more devoted to their art, because out of that comes real substance and legacy, which is what Kubrick has established for himself. And that is why people like him and other people who may have, died tragically or in a way that was sudden or unexpected, regardless of that, they left behind their name. And in a way, they never really did die because everybody knows who they are, or at least their names are run in many social circles, and they continue to exist in a way. And that's really very powerful. And I don't know. Because I don't want to buy into conspiracy just for the sake of conspiracy, because it seems like something that could have happened, or it seems, I can only say I don't know because I wasn't there. I don't know what Kubrick was dealing with. I don't know anything, but like I could understand why he would be targeted, because in his work I really see someone who was probably of actual sentiment and not purely motivated by money. And he was really attempting to do something really good for people through his work. And say what you will, but at the end of the day, when all the con artists have made their profit and left,
What stands is genuine.
what stands are the people who actually cared and put real energy into their work, because energy comes off. And you can read energy. First time you meet someone, how do you think you can tell whether you're going to, you pick up on their energy? And that's the same thing in works. You have all these imitation movies these days. Nobody remembers who even made them, but everybody remembers Kubrick because, he was real. He really devoted himself to his craft. And that's why that's possible. Why his work is one of the,
Foremost examples of film and cinema.
furthermore, one of the yarn that is unraveling the whole thing. And, he's the how do you say it? He's the stitch that is coming it undone, in the fabric of this whole institution, Snip, snip. That's all it takes is one person to go like snip, snip. That's really all it takes is one person to be like, okay, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut. And they're probably going to suffer, of course. But you can never underestimate a single person's power, because at the end of the day, those people they're nothing more than, the reason why they're so secret is because they are very wrong. And if enough people came together and said, oh, we got to take them down, they'd just go down immediately. But the thing is, they're very crafty. And that's why everyone around, the masses, walk around with their eyes wide shut.
That's right.
And their eyes are open, but they see nothing. And that is because these guys are outsmarting them. But it doesn't take anything. All you gotta do is just choose to open your eyes for real. And that's really it. That's the whole thing there, right there. It's crazy how it works like that. One thing plays into the other. His life kind of reflects all these events. It's just, that's the thing about film that's so interesting, because you want to think that it's this imaginary story, but actually it's kind of a weird reflection of things going on at the time. It's like dreams, but something more permanent, even more than dreams, because dreams you have them and you forget, but movies you can come back and remember and put messages in there. It's just like what are even movies? Why do we even watch movies, Why are we willing to sit in front of a screen for 2 or 3 hours just to watch pictures and sounds on a screen? Why do we even do that in the first place? you know? It's got to do something with really, if it's not real, that there is no use for it, but there has to be some kind of use for it, obviously, because it's such a prevalent medium now. There is some kind of use for the human subconscious for all these films and stuff, and it's mysterious, but it's there. All you gotta do is just realize it's there. But sometimes thinking outside the box, for most people, it's just not even possible, of course. But it is worth it because for some people, there is no other way because they're just born on the outside. And hopefully, this was an interesting video. And comment, subscribe, and enjoy the lovely end of August day. Peace out.